Hi everybody, Al Bernstein here with another one of my quick hits. On these videos I get a chance to talk about the affairs of the day in boxing, and this week we're all looking forward to a fight on Saturday night, April 11th, that will feature Danny Garcia taking on Lamont Peterson, and also a very, very interesting and exciting, potentially anyway, middleweight championship fight with Andy Lee defending the WBO title against its former holder, Peter Quillin. Now, this should be a very good card. It's one that I think is going to be very entertaining and has two very competitive matches in it, and it is being held at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, which is of import for a couple different reasons. It's where Garcia and Peterson both had their last fights some 7 months ago, and also it is kind of a home game for Peter Quillin, who of course was born in Brooklyn and has many fans there, although Andy Lee also has a very big following in New York. So I think the combination of all these fighters will bring a lot of folks to the Barclays Center. And here is what they'll see in the main event. Danny Garcia and Lamont Peterson, two fighters who will fight at a catchweight, 143 pounds. You see their records. Neither of them are giant punchers, but they're both good punchers, and Garcia is probably a little stronger in the knockout department. He's got a very strong left hook, but the 31-year-old Peterson and the 27-year-old Garcia, it would appear, make a very good match. Now, this fight's going to be at 143. It's not going to be at 140, where Garcia and Peterson have both been champions, nor will it be at 147, which is where Garcia claims he wants to go to. But this was a fight that everyone thought was interesting and marketable, and I think the idea is, what difference does it make in terms of the weight, as long as it's an entertaining matchup? Now, this fight to me is intriguing because both men the last time out fought opponents that were roundly criticized for fighting. Danny Garcia fought Rod Salka, and Lamont Peterson fought Edgar Santana. That was on a card that I actually broadcast on Showtime, and both received criticism for fighting what many people believed were opponents that were inferior to them and weren't even close to being on their level. This is an interesting matchup because it will tell us a lot about Lamont Peterson, who at 31 is thought of as still a very good fighter, but the knockout loss he suffered to Lucas Matisse made many people feel that he may be damaged goods now in the boxing world. We'll certainly find out when he fights Garcia, who comes into this fight, as I said, after the Rod Salka fight, and before that, though, had fought Mauricio Herrera, and many people, including me, believe that Garcia lost that fight, even though he got the decision. So I'm looking for a very interesting fight here. One of the big keys is Lamont Peterson can be hit with left hooks. That's what Matisse knocked him out with. Danny Garcia has a very good left hook. So one thing to watch for in this fight is to whether Peterson can, in fact, escape that left hook and box well against Danny Garcia. Now, in the other big matchup, Andy Lee and Peter Quillin will get together for the WBO middleweight title. Now, Peter Quillin had that title, but relinquished it rather than fight Matt Korobov in a match that was going to be promoted by Rock Nation, and his advisor Al Hammond, who has had bad blood with Rock Nation, he and Quillin decided better to give up your title and not fight that fight. And I guess in some ways their decision was in some ways justified, although Quillin would have received, because it was a purse bid, Quillin would have received a huge amount of money for it. But now here he is fighting for that same WBO title, the one that Andy Lee got by stepping in and fighting Korobov. And so this is a match that I'm looking forward to. You know, we've penciled in a lot of matches in the next 3-4 months in boxing that you can say, I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. This is one of those matches for me. It's not the most high-profile match going on in the sport, but both these men bring stylistically something to the table that I think makes it irresistible. First of all, they're both punchers. They're both fighters who don't show a lot of movement. They're there in front of you. They can both be hit. They both have power. Andy Lee was stopped by Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who was, of course, more naturally a 168-pounder, and so I think was truly the bigger man. But Lee had good moments in that fight. One, I thought, at least 3 of the rounds that had preceded it. And Peter Quillin, we've seen him before in fights get hit with punches. He can be hit, but his power often rules the day. And so Lee being a lefty adds another dimension to this fight. Now, we saw Quillin against Winky Wright, also a lefty, the quintessential lefty, if you will. But Winky Wright, when he fought Quillin, was much older than he had been in his prime and was really not the same Winky Wright. So, to me, this fight is a very interesting fight. And if I was a betting man, which I'm not, even though I live here in Las Vegas, and you can hear the winds howling at my door, that right outside my window, that tells you I'm in Las Vegas, a desert wind. The fact is, if I was a betting man, rather than bet on anybody to win this fight, I would bet the under, because I think somebody is going to be knocked out. And I think we're going to see lots of excitement in this fight. Now, this fight's going to be Saturday night, along with the Garcia fight and Peterson. That's on NBC Saturday night here in the United States, and it will be at the Barclays Center, where they expect a very enthusiastic crowd. Now, for Andy Lee, the Irishman, now living in London, of course, many of you across the pond, I'm sure will be watching to see if he can defend his version of the middleweight title. And everyone understands Gennady Golovkin is the man in this division, but as with all things boxing, there are more than one belt floating around, and so we have another version of the title being held by Andy Lee. So this is going to be, I think, a very entertaining and intriguing card on Saturday night. Let me bring in our producer, Dan Parks, producer of my Boxing Hangouts and these quick hits. And Dan, I want to talk with you for a second, because I want to get everybody primed for what we're going to be doing leading up to the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. Starting on April 20th, we're going to be having a series of these quick hits and some hangouts as well that we're calling Countdown to Mayweather-Pacquiao, in which we're going to cover all the bases for that fight, with not only with some guests that come on in our hangouts, but also with my commentary about all the different aspects of that fight. And I think everybody's starting to get really jacked up.
I know I am, Al. I'm ready to go. As a matter of fact, today I was happy enough to go out and I purchased a whole bunch of wonderful little items that we're going to be giving away to all of our followers and all of our viewers that watch our Hangouts. We're going to have several little contests during these weeks leading up to the fight, and we've got some great T-shirts, and we've got the coasters and some posters, and this is going to be an exciting time for the Boxing Hangouts and for boxing in general, Al.
It really will. And now we want to remind you to subscribe to our channel, because that's one of the ways you'll get those prizes. So you must subscribe. It's mandatory. And how could your life be meaningful if you're not subscribing to? Dan, I don't know how anyone can move forward in life without subscribing to our channels. All right, maybe you can live a meaningful life, but it's not going to be as meaningful. So yeah, subscribe to our Boxing Hangout channel, and that'll help you win some of these great prizes that Dan is talking about. And we're going to be touching all the bases on that fight as we move forward. And it's going to be, of course, a very, very exciting night. They'll be having an announcement that may impact me in just a few days, and we'll keep you up to date on that as well. So, lots of excitement in the boxing world upcoming. We're going to be at the center of it here with our quick hits and our Boxing Hangouts. And on Saturday night, check out the boxing that will be seen on NBC here in the United States, live in Brooklyn, and, of course, around the world as well.